Hello, everybody, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Friday, the 12th of December. First of all, big shout out to my little sister who is turning 2 years younger than me today. Today is her birthday, which means, sorry, is also annually, traditionally, the day that we would have put up our tree in our house. And I've mentioned that before, that in the Walker household, we always put up our tree on the 12th of December. I don't know whether that was Jennifer appreciated that or not, but that was a thing for us. Normally, I would want to say that this is Feel Good Friday, but today I'd like to talk about something a little bit different. I would like to talk to you about the importance of appreciating the people in our lives. Some of you may know that I do my level best to get this Church at Home out every day, and I put it out on Facebook. It's automatically released on YouTube, and you can click for notifications, and it can be delivered right to your inbox if you like, and you won't ever have to miss a Church at Home or a Gospel on the Go. But for some people, there's a couple of people who aren't as tech savvy and appreciated having this arrive in their email box, find an email from me. So every morning, when I publish it on Facebook, I would then send an email to two people. One was my mom, and another, her name was Ruth. And I would send out these emails. Now, both women are named Ruth, Ruth Walker and Ruth Iverson. And I knew that after Ruth was the other Ruth, not my mom, was a parishioner when I was in Wainwright, and she was, as I said to someone recently, she was a tough old bird. Um, Ruth kept me on my toes. She was incredibly smart. She loved God. She loved Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, and she loved her church. And she was an incredible gift to St. Thomas and Wainwright. There were many people, I think, who kind of like scratched their heads and thought, like, you got to get around Ruth. She had strong opinions and ideas, and the thing is, she was often right. And that's kind of what there's the rub. In there lies the rub. That she never did anything, at least for the 4 years I was there, that was contrary to what God would want for the church. If you were making a decision or you had an idea that she thought maybe was half baked, she'd tell you. But she also would get on board if something was really what God was calling us to do. Um, Soon after I left Wainwright, she ended up in the hospital in long-term care. And Ruth, God bless her, was never someone who was really good with technology. Hence, I would email her my videos so she could just click on it and not have to go on her iPad to YouTube. And sometimes early on, she would email me and say, I missed some things, like, where were you if I was on holidays or something? And I hadn't remembered to send her an email warning her that I wouldn't be around for a while. But more often than not, I wouldn't hear from her at all. I just, knew that she'd watch. On a hunch, yesterday, I don't know why, Holy Spirit, I think, I checked out the funeral home um, website in Wainwright and typed in her name and discovered that she died last April, in late April. She was 90 years old. She made it past her birthday. She was 90 years old. And it kind of broke my heart. I think I've probably known for quite a while that she wasn't watching the videos anymore, even though she never commented and she didn't very often reach out. But I think a part of me just sort of knew that the time to send them on to Ruth was no longer needed. And so I checked email. I checked the website and discovered that she had indeed died. In this age of technology, I think it's really important that we be intentional about reaching out to people. I am really bad at it. I am very busy and I have a lot of people I reach out to. And as an introvert, it takes it really knocks the stuffing out of me to do that late at night or on the weekends. Sometimes it's just I've spoken to so many people during the week about big things that sometimes I just don't have the energy to go ahead and do that. The same thing with my Christmas cards. I'm still working on Christmas cards, and I'm still going to use the excuse that Christmas is technically from the 25th of December until Epiphany. So people will get their Christmas cards. They just won't be early, but they will be sent with love. But I think it's really important that we just sort of touch base. I think it's also important that we pay attention to those hunches, those feelings we have. Something has been telling me for a really long time that I should probably reach out to someone and ask about Ruth, or something. And I've thought about it before reaching out via the website to check the funeral home, and see, what they, if there's something up there, because they usually are pretty good about that. And I've been putting it off. And I think I've been putting it off because Ruth was sort of that last connection I had in a really practical way to my from my last parish. I've got folks like Alice and Bertha and Jamie and Madeline and other people from Halifax that I reach out to, and I'm in constant contact. For me is like several times a year, so that I'm in regular contact with, and I've even got to see them this past Thanksgiving. But that was a connection made because of friendship. The connections I've made because of my time as a priest, those are those are fleeting. And because I'm in a completely different diocese, there's no one here for whom I was a parish priest. And Ruth was that one person who every day I could reach out to and know that that connection of who I was as priest was still there. Because Ruth would never see me as her bishop. I wasn't. And as a matter of fact, I doubt if Ruth ever really saw me as a bishop anyway, because that was Ruth. And so all these months when I've been thinking to myself, well, maybe I should ask the question, is Ruth still around? I think I've been putting it off because I knew. But then at the same time, for whatever reason, it was this morning that my gut, the Holy Spirit said, you need to find out. And I'm glad I did. It changes my day, my every morning when I get up and publish Church at Home and send it off to the two Ruths. Now it'll only be one Ruth, and that's okay. Because the other Ruth is where she's Church at Home. She is at the feet of Jesus already, and she is up there, and I'm certain she's organizing their women's guild and making sure that everything happens the way it should happen up there and behind those pearly gates. But I realize that the Holy Spirit moves us when we are ready to be moved. And I don't mean that that puts the emphasis on us, that we make the great decisions, but I really do believe that when we are ready for the next step, for me being ready to know that Ruth was gone, when we are ready for that next step, the Holy Spirit will give us that little nudge, that little feeling in our stomach that we should do something, little push on the shoulder that says, do this idea in our head, call that person, look that up, write that letter, or don't do something. And I think we need to pay attention to God's timing. Had I found out before today that Ruth died on April 26th of this year, I would have been able to handle it. I would have been as sad as I am now. But I may not have been able to process it the way, for whatever reason, I will be able to process it because I know it now. Before Christmas, before the beginning of a new year, just weeks after the anniversary of my being elected to go to a new diocese to be their bishop, because literally within 48 hours of me being elected a bishop and being back in Wainwright to do my work as their parish priest, Ruth was on the horn, telling me what she thought, telling me she'd miss me, but I would do a good job. So this weekend, I'm going to take some time to process what it means that Ruth is already with her Maker. I am going to take some time to think about that last connection with my former parish and what it means to really be able to let go of being the parish priest and embrace being a bishop. Because I have a hunch that's what Ruth would be telling me to do right now. So wherever you are and whoever you are, take some time to be intentional about your own relationships, if you can, and listen for those promptings of the Holy Spirit that you might feel and understand when God is calling you to move, to do a new thing, to contact someone or not to try for a new job, or hunker down with the one you've got. The Holy Spirit will always guide you in the right direction. The key is you have to listen to the Holy Spirit. And for me, today I listened to the Holy Spirit, and my life has changed a little bit. But one thing I am reminded of today is that my life was changed a great deal in a wonderful way when I met Ruth for the first time. And I know someday I'll meet her again. Have a gentle weekend. God bless you. Enjoy this coming coming to Advent. We're heading for the third Sunday of Advent. Enjoy your preparations for Christmas and allow yourself to just be, to feel, to be present to how God is working in your life. God bless you and God rest Ruth. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Sunday for Church Gospel on the Go and Monday for Church at Home with Rachel.